We go to Addis Ababa, where African leaders are in day 2 of the African Union Summit for the conversation, spotlighting the urgent calls for reforming the global institutions that shape the world. In his address, UN Secretary-General António Guterres made a bold statement about the need for change. He told the leaders here that the absence of permanent African seats on the UN Security Council is indefensible. Our correspondent, Bongani Siziba, who has been covering the summit, joins us live from Addis Ababa.
A very good afternoon to you. It's day 2 of the heads of states meeting here in Addis Ababa, and they are still having their meetings, but conversations here on the corridors are happening. Not the kind of conversations that you would think of, but they are conversations about the legitimacy of the African Union, the credibility of it, and the inclusion of the Sahel countries. It's a critical issue facing the African Union, the credibility. So the ongoing debate over these issues is also going in the corridors. The African Union, as the continent's premier regional organization, has long aimed at promoting peace, stability and development across Africa. However, questions about its credibility have arisen amid challenges in addressing conflicts. But to continue this conversation, let me just bring in an analyst here just to speak to us about the credibility of AU. Your view about it.
Yeah, thank you. So I think that the AU's credibility, even being questioned, is a problem. It's supposed to go without saying that the AU is the mothership for all African countries. It's just like when you talk about it was a big conversation when Brexit was going to happen. Britain wanted to leave the EU, it was a big conversation, but the EU's hold on the nations, enforcing unity among the nations in Europe, is similar to the framework of what we're supposed to have in Africa. But at this time, you're having some nations being expelled because of the African Union Peace and Security Charter, Article 4, that governs, that calls for the suspension of nations whose governments come into power through unconstitutional means, like what we have seen in the Sahel, in Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso. The Agenda 2063 is a youth-centric policy framework. And most of the people who are discussing Agenda 2063, they will be maybe like 130 years or 140 years by 2063. That means many of them are not going to be alive. So you are developing policy for the future. Meanwhile, the people that will be the custodians of Africa in that particular future are out of the conversation. How credible is that?
The credibility of African Union continues to be questioned in these corridors, and also that the African Union does not implement some of the policies here. And we know that also the president of Ghana has been calling for the support of the Sahel countries, and also calling that they also join the AU. So those are some of the calls that are in the corridors here. We know that the Sahel region has faced ongoing conflicts, terrorism, humanitarian crisis, and other issues. So the calls here are that the credibility of the AU, and also the calling of the Sahel countries to join this AU summit. He also spoke about that most countries, especially when it comes to media, they are not here to cover the AU summit. So a lot of critical questions are being asked about the credibility of this AU summit. But what we know is that the AU summit will close today. Heads of states will be returning to their countries, and what the African citizens are waiting for is the implementation of these policies that have been discussed here. It's now back to you in the studio as we continue with this event here at the AU 39th Summit in Addis Ababa.